started here. Looks like everything, yep, phone is sounded, and we'll get right to the action. Thanks for watching.
What you don't want to see is 4 collars, because they're so vulnerable. It's still just one pair.
Yeah.
Like, please, no.
You don't want to fold.
She's not gonna get
So
it right.
excited.
She's like ready to go.
The best hand at the moment is Linda with an ace 10.
450.
Linda
Raises to
Ray,
450.
450.
We are going to show chip counts for a minute here.
Oh.
No, actually, in between the next hand, we'll show up the chip stacks that were on break 3.
All that and check.
Whole lot of nothing for everybody.
Ace high.
Linda takes it with an ace high.
Sir.
Well, before that got started, here's the chip count for everybody. Looks like Paul Moskowitz is in the lead with 13,550. And Linda, who just got some more chips, but at that point she was at 10,775.
Robert is the low man on the totem pole with 2,700.
And he did say he was going to be pushing it all in here pretty soon.
Was it this guy? I just remember what you said. It was 13.
Moskowitz will be first act, and you see him there on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, I did. I took it.
7,
I took it.
9.
You're not even 1,000 short, you're 50.
Yeah. Took your green chips.
I was off like
Over.
1325. You got 12.
No, it's 13,000 something.
Whatever.
13,555 is where you were at, Paul.
I was off. I counted wrong.
Oh, okay.
Like a
I fold.
Oh, you had me
Don't
all
fire me.
excited.
About 13,000.
Don't excite
Me
Paul.
too.
Don't feed the bears. Don't excite Paul.
Heather lets her hand go. Got the Ed
If
already.
you're on the, if you got the button, the person on the other side of me is big.
Brandon.
Oh, I gotta drink some
It's
more.
okay. It's not even on.
Not even on.
Just yelling at you for talking too loud. Calls.
Dealer controlling his table.
With attitude. That's a call.
3 players.
Sure, you guys got them on.
Ed, Brandon, and Rod. Those 3 guys right there. 5,
Oh,
7,
man.
Jack.
475. 375.
3 seconds.
Brandon's just a
It's
magic
not just
man.
your chips you can't count.
I don't know how he does
It's
that.
everybody. Yeah.
There are 3 spades out there, though. That's got to be a scare.
Brandon does win with his bet.
Pair, nice.
Blinds are 100, 200. We are in blind level 4.
Shut the front door.
Season 3, Game 5 at Chase the Bracelet. We have already eliminated 2 players.
So we have the timer clock. We're in level 4, and blinds are 100, 200, just like Dan.
It is. It's like 4, 6, 8. You're like,
What's that?
Big one.
don't pair the board, please. Just don't pair the board. We're good.
Jack 10 suited for Heather, one of my favorite hands. I love a suited Jack 10.
Shelly.
Shelly, who did I say?
Call. Cold.
So let's go a lot more chips than Joe does this
I'm
time.
confused because
Yeah.
Joe is Shelly and Heather is Heather.
Joe.
He took second place.
Wasn't just
Oh,
Linda.
I'm just teasing.
But she spells it with a
You're
Y.
lucky with her ace. Oh, she got called.
So that just makes
Raise
it all the better.
600.
Yes. I think Shelly spells hers with a Y also.
On the end.
Yeah.
Fold.
Wah, 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 wah.
Fold.
Oh, wait a minute.
Be 4 more, man.
Dan, who's our dealer tonight?
Oh, our dealer tonight is a man by the name of Train.
Thank you to Train for dealing tonight. He has dealt this entire season, and big help, great dealer, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Same bet, 600. Fold.
When we watched again.
Thank you.
For you Cleveland Indians sports fans, they won today 13-7. Our button is on. It's Rob. And it's Big Blind, and Heather will be first act. Look at the intensity of their faces, Tony.
I know, serious game.
First act for Heather with a small pocket pair.
Heather call.
She just makes a call.
Fold.
200 call.
Doesn't seem like she really wants to play that hand, and I imagine that Rob's going to raise this up.
Brandon fold.
It comes in, queen 6.
Rob, call.
Rob Newman, with his 2,000 some chips, shows them all in.
2,400.
Good move.
2,400. He did mention at break that he was low and was going to make some big moves. Stands up. Paul Moskowitz with a jack king suited.
That's for you, Dan.
Rob, I think, is nervous, having some intestinal issues.
Paul trying to figure out if his Jack's King of Diamonds is good here.
Moskowitz has the chips to make us call. It's not going to hurt him
Yeah.
too much.
Fold, fold.
I imagined that's what he was going to do. I imagine Heather's going to let her hand go, and Ed's not going to make this call.
Interesting.
Tony, all day long, I think I make that Jack King suited call with his chip stack.
I would have too.
Unfortunately. But we all play different styles of poker.
Yeah.
That's why some of us are winners, some of us are losers,
And some of us are bigger winners.
and some are bigger winners.
Aggression wins pots.
You got to put a chip call. It's still
Yeah, I know. Well, I want to keep it that way, but you know.
I understand, but still, like, this is Rob. You got to give Rob what you can, you know what I'm saying?
Shelly, there on the left side of the screen, is first act.
Wait. No. Yeah,
Yeah.
There she is. In case it's a new face for you and you just signed in for us, Shelly is playing for Joe Brunson today, who could not make tonight's game. And he has sent us Shelly as a sub.
Paul gets pocket kings again.
Fold. Fold.
Yes.
Really don't think he's going to get any callers here, though, Tony.
Heather.
Head calls 2.
Oh, I didn't see that. Why is this?
Brandon calls 2.
Yeah.
Depends on what his bet is.
So blinds are 100, 200. Let's see what he makes.
Yeah, did his raise one.
Brace for the mouse.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You
right.
guys hear what I'm saying in my brain? That is scary. What am I thinking now?
800.
4 times the big blind, or
Brandon's got
800.
it for me.
Paul raises to 800 with
I
Brandon's permission.
fold. I heard the rest of
I'm
it.
glad you
Paul
said
Moskowitz raises his pocket kings, $800. Heather is looking to fold.
Folds.
Over to Ed.
Oh, Heather folded her ace jack.
No.
Ed folds ace 9. Does Brandon have the cojones?
The Brandon special.
Brandon with the 69. He may not let it go just because it's Brandon. Ed's hand did not get folded. Let's fold Ed's hand.
Brandon does not improve.
PJ must not be headphoned.
Makes it 8.
I
Go.
am, I just didn't hear you.
Oh,
That's 800.
Ed's hand's not folded.
Ed's hand is not folded.
Now it is.
There it goes.
Folds.
Brandon does fold to
Sorry,
Moskowitz's
PJ.
continuation bet. Kings twice for Moskowitz and gets paid twice.
Small and big on my left.
Once, though, by a very, very, very lucky catch on the river.
True.
Did I? How many varies was that? I may need to add one more.
Yeah, I think 5 total should be it.
Okay, 5x vary. Lucky card in the river.
And the reason Marco's not here is because of that.
Hear anything 'cause I have to leave it.
But Marco got home in time to fertilize the lawn and do whatever else outside work he has for him.
And probably the top of Paul Moskowitz's car.
I don't want to know about him fertilizing that.
Tell me if you can hear me now.
Pocket 9s for Steve Day. Ace Queen for Heather.
Steve makes it 500 to go.
Steve bets 500 with his pocket 9s. Over to Ed. 6-7 suited.
His ears are gonna start bleeding.
check actions on Brandon with his king 6.
It's actually on Ed.
Oh, is it?
Still in
Okay,
it.
I see. Ed with his
Calls
6-7.
5.
Ed calls 6-7 suited.
Fold.
Brandon folds.
Fold,
Rob
fold.
folds.
Fold.
Moskowitz.
Fold.
Hit the button. Folds. Linda folds. Over to Heather's ace queen.
Heather actually does have the 36% over the 34% of
She
Steve.
did fold ace jack last hand as well.
Folds.
Wow. And she lets another one go.
Interesting.
2 players.
Now, she may be playing very tight because her and Paul are both tied for first place as of going into this game, point-wise. And so if either one of them has a higher point, they probably are the the point leader for the season.
Very interesting run of cards. Steve hits his set. Ed goes open-ended. Now open-ended with a flush draw. Ed has a lot of cards to catch up. They both check. Ed misses. Steve's 9s
man.
are good.
Steve bet 700.
Steve could have made some money not by betting and not checking twice. Ed would have certainly come along with both those draws.
Very true.
Now he has to let it go. Button moves. Ed will be first to act next hand, folks.
Steve, you're a big one. So I'm practicing.
Huh? 31. That's it? That's why I got a call?
Yep.
Put your 31 off to the side.
Fold.
Ed folds at 3-4. Over to Brandon, pocket 7.
550 is now the bet.
5-5-0 is the bet.
Wish I was in there.
Raising the pocket 7s.
You're the one who's going to make
How many
money,
times?
not me.
How many times?
Brandon raised to 550.
Paul and Linda both fold. Heather's Jack Deuce is folding. Shelly folds. And Steve is going to let it go. Brandon is a winner.
Not hardly ever. You're going to take good advantage.
I'm really bad at this.
Don't worry about it. I'll get up and hit reset.
Just leave
You're
it
better
sit
than
on.
Brandon because you do it quietly.
First act this hand will be Brandon.
Look at his face.
Just die in here.
Up there, but
I started
In
to
your
say
eyes,
I
I
have
think
my
you
rocks.
I
I love that program.
That thing is awesome. I'm at my run. You can do runs, walks, or anything.
Ed, big blind.
Good to go.
Special, we shall call it.
Brandon calls a big blind.
Brandon with the 4-7 calls 200 in the big blind.
Paul Moskowitz
Paul calls.
calls his Jack Queen offsuit. Linda Queen 10 suited.
5 and 4.
Linda makes it 525 play.
And you know,
5-2-5 raised by Linda.
trails that
10
have mileage
Queen
markers and
suited.
stuff on it.
Right.
So assuming those are accurate, the thing
Folds.
literally that thing is accurate with that 10th
Over to
of
Ed, who has big blind pocket jacks.
It's, yeah, he doesn't mark very
Brian
nice.
had a lot of things.
Ed announces a
Raise
raise.
been announced. Makes it 1600 to play.
Ed bets
And
1600.
16,
Brandon folds.
Paul
Too.
folds.
Paul folds. Linda folds. Ed
I call him. You don't.
pocket jacks takes it down.
Good bet on Ed's part.
It was a 3-time stand. It wasn't a 27-time stand. Huh?
There's our mascot doing the other
Yeah,
part-time job that he
obviously.
does, which is protecting the house.
Security.
Yep.
Marco must have been trying to get back in the game.
fold.
Robert, first act, he folds. We're over to Paul Moskowitz. Folds as
Fold,
well.
fold.
Linda Johnson
Fold.
folds. Heather folds.
Call. Call.
King 9 by Shelley makes a call. Steve Day
Call.
Makes a call.
Option, Brandon.
4 players to the flop.
Show them what they got beat.
Queen 6-6.
Looks like Joe's still, or Shadow's still good there.
600 is the bet.
See, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Folds all around.
Shelly does bet out. Takes pot down.
Cold nose to the sack. Cold nose to the sack. That's how you say he likes to be walking up. Hello.
Oh, baby. I'm back for more already.
Poor thing.
Sir, keep your hands off the pets. Paul Moskowitz, first act.
Hold on, I gotta check my cards.
Needs both hands.
Jack is jealous.
Fold, fold. Heather fold.
Shelly and she folds.
Steve
Folds
calls.
Jack 10. Steve
Since you have
calls his Queen 10 suit.
off, would you just
Hey, don't sit Brandon. Loving the 10-5. He's making the call.
Here we go.
Rob just checks his option.
3 to flop.
Let's see what Brandon can do with the Woolworth today.
Check.
Steve hits top.
Should
Should bet and take.
2 hands in a row. Maybe it's good the second time around. Who knows? No.
All done, I'm done.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark. He's one more. Yeah.
It's all it needs.
Like it.
100, 200
Well,
go.
it's holding if they both check, so.
For another 50 seconds.
$200 to go. Heather fold. Fold, fold. Fold.
Action on Brandon.
Brandon calls.
700.
Raise to 700.
Brandon raises. King
No,
deuce
no,
suit.
I think Newman raised,
Oh.
Folds. Calls.
but he does call. Sharing cards.
Runner.
Runner, runner.
First act will be Rob Newman.
2 players.
That's a good shot at that too.
All in.
Chips.
All in for
22 is the bet.
Brandon. Caught none of that.
Shows.
Nice hand.
We move up in blinds.
Show's jacking off.
This is level 2 of our second session. Our level 5 for the room. It was 153 for the blinds.
153.
Usually it's like $3.99 a minute.
Heather will be first act.
Yeah,
It's more exciting than
I make about $2.50 a show. I mean $2 a day.
Folds.
Top dollar for you, shit.
I swear, when I saw that book, I'm like, "Rawr."
That is the greatest.
I wish I had your number. I wish I had your number.
Heather folds.
Raise to 600.
Shelly bets 600 with her pocket sixes.
You could probably Google the book or get it from Amazon.
Brandon fold.
Cents or something.
Fold.
Rob Newman
Six
folds his
now.
Jack 8.
Nope.
Moskowitz folds
Call.
into calls.
Gonna cause the Queen 9. We're gonna be heads up between Shelly and Linda. Brandon's hand is not
I
mucked.
thought you were pushing those out.
Yes, ma'am.
There it goes.
Brandon is not much.
It's good.
That's 1,000.
I'm not-
Linda folds.
Nice bet.
Yep.
Nice bet. All overs on the board. Just gotta see where she's at. Nice bet on her part.
I'd call better worse.
So Shelly to act first this hand.
I think it's a blind.
I think Shelly's starting to feel comfortable with the table that she's playing with now.
Yep.
We're starting to make a little more aggressive moves. This is the first time I've seen her play, so you're learning as I'm learning, Tony.
Well, I made a mistake when he said. that. I said, "Okay, Rick." And
Fold.
sorry.
Aw.
I predict Heather raises and takes this pot, Tony.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, did you play at home?
I would put
Wait.
money on that, but I believe you're right.
Unless Brandon
Yeah.
limps in and then calls in and catches his
Yeah.
head.
Drop, hold,
I'm done.
down.
Me too. There you go, Heather.
Yeah.
Winner.
I didn't think she needed a raise.
Out of the tournament. So,
Hit that button for me.
finally got like 5 players together eventually, and we're playing cash, and then I go over to Rick, I'm like, come on, man, he had this huge.
He's like, okay.
I'm like, come on, dog, come on. He was into the money. So I.
Steve Day will be first to act this
It
hand.
was coincidentally, when he came over to cash.
Steve sitting in the blue shirt on the left-hand side of your screen.
One, I had like 45-minute drive to get home, I was dead tired. So I don't know what happened to him after that.
He plays pretty much the same cash or tournament.
Yeah, which
And
is.
so when he's
which
hitting,
is-
when he's hitting in the tournament, man, he's
Good to
just
go.
you can't
Steve
stop.
holds.
He's a friggin' freight train. The problem is that happens about once
Yes, sir. 300
every third Haley's Comet run.
750 is now the bet.
Cash game.
Brandon
Brandon,
suited 2-3.
Fold.
Bet 750 into this pot.
Fold.
Unfortunately, some of them.
450 more.
Enough to take down the pot.
He's gonna take it down.
Fold. Winner.
Get bored over here listening to this guy.
Button moves over to Heather, and we look to Ed to be first to act once his cards are dealt. 8 players remaining.
The nice thing, I'm sorry, I was talking about that, I met my run. The nice thing about it is for people like me who are getting small amounts of walking and running in, like I get not quite a mile on a 15-minute break
Right.
for a morning. But it's encouraging. If I didn't see that,
Right.
adding
Is it
up
a
over
bonus?
time.
300 to go.
What
Fold.
I met my run.
Blinds are 150, 300.
Yeah, I was gonna actually
My
try that
wife-
5K runner.
my wife-
Good to go.
program.
Fold.
Week 4, I love it.
Fold.
I fold.
Fold.
So I realized that on the
Heather
breaks, my
folds.
little walk is between
Shelley
Two
calls
players.
from the small blind.
Just the blinds.
quarter mile and
Yep,
0.9.
and Steve checks his
And
option.
I got 15 minutes to get out of the chair, walk it, and get back in the chair.
Shelley hits best on this flop.
Bet 600.
She's gonna get it. Steve
As
folds.
far as a quick walk
Poker
around,
is
but you
easy,
don't really
Tony.
get that
Poker
update
is
like at
easy.
the end of the week, you're like, yeah,
I've been told that a couple
It's
times.
like 8 miles I got on 15-minute breaks this week. That's
I think
not
the
a
more
big
you know,
deal.
the more you know you don't
No,
know.
I've been jogging. I just started again for the first time.
It's a little bit of luck. It's a whole lot of skill.
Downhill
Again, first
Well,
time in a while.
that
That
doesn't
sounds
make
just
sense.
horrible.
That's right.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Brandon's gonna be first to act.
I took the better part of a year off. I was doing this 2 years ago. And then, so if it's downhill, I jog it. If it's up still, I have best ass walk it.
Brandon under the gun folds.
Agreement.
Good to go, right?
Fold.
What you doing, trying to wear the paint off?
But it
What?
builds up the cardio enough. Just the easy runs.
They
and,
do.
At the raises,
Once
makes
you
it 700
hard
play.
to a certain point,
Fold.
20 minutes.
Fold.
Everything after that.
Right.
Heather raises ace queen.
starts actually helping.
Down the Ed with a 2-5 suited. Taking a minute here to think about it.
This is all the runs that I've done in class. 2 weeks or something like that.
So do you refer back to that?
I-
Why do
And
you
it'll-
refer back to it?
Just to see time wise.
Oh,
Like, okay, I did
He does
6
fold it.
miles and whatever, you know, and under.
We move on
Okay,
to
so
the
if you're-
next
if
hand.
you're- If you're trying to improve your time. you
Right.
have to- If I just do it, I just go out. and
Robert
just
Newman,
do it.
first
I don't
act.
care what my time is.
Cards are
Yeah,
being
it's still
dealt.
nice because it'll tell you,
I would like to see what else.
You walk like a little Pomeranian too. I can see you doing that.
it'll
Like a
tell
little
you,
Pomeranian dog. You got a little teeny dog in your arm.
Well, when I walk my dog.
300 to go,
I'm
right?
full.
Do you have a little
I don't
dog?
do that.
Like, do you ever? I can see you. I can just picture you walking a small
He's
dog.
30 pounds.
So he's a small dog. He's just
Yeah.
fat.
He's not bad at all. He's
What kind of dog is
skinny.
it?
He's a
Full.
cockapoo.
Fold, 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 fold.
Don't tell anybody.
God bless you.
Steve reaching for chips.
No,
But I don't run.
He's gonna raise his ace king up, but I don't think he's gonna get
Game
it.
raised it,
stay and
850.
walk for the dog. Right.
850 is the bet.
The thing I like is you can
850
set it
is now
to
the
do it as
bet.
often as you need.
550 more.
Perfect time. Steve. Perfect time.
Hit the 1 mile walk, 2 mile.
And he takes it.
It'll tell you your average pace.
Pedometer, or they-
It's by GPS.
Tearing up your
Yeah.
Oh. See, now that would be
It's very fun. And for somebody like me, it's encouraging. I look at the end of the week, I got all of them laid out, I'm like, I counted that 19 miles on lunches and breaks. You can't go wrong with that. Actually, last week it was like 26.
I'll
How
get
are you
breaks
able
like
to
that.
count the miles? You have to
It's a
figure out
GPS on my program, on my phone.
You've got an iPhone,
Nike
right?
got some.
It's I Mapped My Run.
I map my run.
It's free, and it's just a GPS that tracks
It
everything.
just follow, I turn it
everywhere
on
you
when
go.
I walk, it tells me how far I went when I was done.
And it's actually pretty accurate, like,
So
according
within
to
a
the-
quarter of a mile.
No,
Right.
less than a tenth of a mile. Because the one trail my wife and I did, we had this, and the trail was marked every mile. And according to this, the 5 mile mark came at 5.02
Steve
miles.
raises
I mean, it is
750.
real.
Steve raises ace queen 750.
Brandon with the ace jack.
Yeah, stop talking, just keep it. Listen.
F and fold.
Ooh, interesting.
an F and fold and a fly off the table.
What just happened there, Tony?
Wrong
I
call.
think somebody, Invasion of the Body Snatchers 4.
I mean, I've seen Brandon call the same bet with
I'm gonna
with
regret this fold.
3/4 suited.
Dark.
I'll say.
We do have 2 players that flop though, Rob and Steve.
Damn, flop.
Newman does not catch any of that flop.
800. Fold.
Good bet by Steve on that.
You see what that card was? Was it face up?
Yeah.
You didn't hit the board.
Well, I know, I'll go over here. That's what I like. Good one. Ace jack
Folks,
and
if it's
club.
silent here on our end, it's because we're speechless right now.
You can set
I don't like
say
ace jack off,
your
so we have
runs
to-
automatically Facebook
Yeah.
and all that crap.
Yeah, I've seen you do
It's
that.
like taking
Yeah,
like-
I'm very good.
Yeah, it was. I think it did our first 3 runs before I realized it was.
Good to go?
automatically posted. I mean, I don't care now.
Then the fold.
I just really
Fold.
like it.
Fold.
I wouldn't give myself credit for as much as I had done if I couldn't see the whole list of.
Well, I used to have the
Ed with an
Nike
8 king of
Plus,
diamonds.
the little sensor in the shoe, and it actually was.
Looks like he's reaching for
not
chips.
real
Ed raises
accurate.
750.
I found
750
that
bet.
out. We were
Brandon
running
folds.
Rob.
the
Oh.
Somebody wake Brandon
half
up.
marathon, the relay.
Rob, nudge the man.
And I had to run the last leg. Well, I chose to run the last leg because it was supposed to be the
I've got the
flattest
last
leg.
leg on that before.
Well, it's supposed to be the flattest leg, but it's also the longest. Well, then I'm running it, and it was all through the hills.
No, it
The
wasn't.
one when I ran it, it was.
One- there's
we
one-
started out in the park, going up a hill, sand run something or other,
Sand
and
Run
then
Park.
and then the only flat part was
Action on
going
Heather to
around
act
and
first.
through whatchamacallit, Stan Hewitt Hall.
There was some.
Heather has the best hand in poker right now,
One
7
hill
deuce.
right there.
She
but
lets
it
it
was
go.
short. It was steep, but it was short.
Then coming through the city, we had to
Out.
go up and down, up and down.
I thought that was a great
I'm
run.
gonna
To
raise
Rob
Going
Newman.
up.
But anyways, that's when I found
Newman
out
with
it
an
wasn't
ace
very
of 8
accurate.
announces a raise.
Because
Not up.
1400. Because
Just
it
let
told
us
me
know.
I had a quarter
Raise
mile.
Ask what I was,
14.
I can't.
Winner.
It
Rob
told me I
bets
had a quarter mile left to
1400.
go.
Hold the best.
Linda
So I
bets
figured
for
I
7
was-
offsuit go.
His blinds are
I
153.
was almost a mile from the finish line. I'm like,
So how much you got?
4.5 X bet.
I'm all in. I know what I got,
That
that's
added
good enough.
information. I thought that was a great leg, though. I mean, all the people, all over.
this is, all right,
Shall
my
it be
wife
first
thinks-
act?
She's like, you're such a dumbass. And I have to agree. Like, I'm running, and at one point, you're,
At least
you
you
run by.
at least you know she's listening.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. You run.
Yep, you were right.
You run past Firestone High School.
Right.
And this is, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through the lake, if
305.
my estimates are correct. And, you know, so I'm tired now. And,
Oh.
kind of dragging. I look up, way up ahead, and I see the Firestone cheerleaders, high school cheerleaders.
Steve calls it a 6-7
All of a
suited.
sudden, I'm in perfect form. I'm
Oh,
like
yeah.
Olympic athlete.
Absolutely.
You know.
Action on
You're
Newman.
a different guy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Look at
the
this.
music started playing.
Right, you know, I'm hearing trumpets and chariots of
Watch
fire.
over to Paul. Paul calls.
And, you know, meanwhile, they're like, oh, Jesus, he's the disgusting old
And they
pervert."
all stop and they all start looking in unison at you.
4 players to
Then
a
they
flop.
turn and hurl.
Yeah, they're waiting for you to stroke out. That's what it
First act
is.
will be what Heather
Like, we have to
and,
call
I'm sorry,
anyone
Linda,
here.
and Linda checks.
Maybe we should follow.
What's the check? What the hell are you doing that?
Action.
Check.
I do it
Paul.
every time.
No one really hits that flop.
But I verified it for. I proved it's not
Paul's
800
gonna make a
is
stab at it.
because we were doing a trail run And this
Little folds.
Yep, gets the little fold.
extremely heavy set old guy
Now action on Heather.
is running. And we see him way, because it's flat.
Heather
and
folds.
straight. We see him
Over to
way up
Steve
ahead.
Day.
And he's like,
Does have a gut shot, but he
and
folds
looks
it.
like he's just going to die. And all of a sudden,
Well
no,
timed bet
this is a real
by
big
Paul
guy.
Newman on that, or Paul Moskowitz on
He's
that.
probably 100 yards from us.
Paul
And
Newman?
This is the first time he picks
all
his
the
head up,
salad
and he
dressing.
sees my wife and I. And all of a sudden he's like, and I'm like, see, I told you, all of us, we're all idiots. We do it every time we see a chick run. Like, this is going to impress her if I run like I know what the...
You know what the problem is when you get
Heather small blind, Shelly big, and Steve will be first act. You see him there in the blue.
See, I usually didn't have to worry about that, because usually
Shelly
they were
with
behind me
aces,
for a
second
second
time
or two.
tonight.
Put it in there and run in,
Then they're in front of you.
Right.
which is good too. That's
go.
like a carrot in front of the grain.
No. At the last Warrior Dash my wife and I did, the two girls running in front of us were in bikinis. And my wife's like, you gotta slow down. And I'm like, no. This is a great pace, honey.
I think Rob's going to be in trouble this hand because I think he'll raise it.
900.
I actually
Oh, you're right on that one.
saw pics.
What was it?
I know my players, Tony.
Seven
Yes, you do.
Oh, can I take my razor?
No, sir, you cannot. Bruh, razors at 900. 900.
Action on Heather. Heather folds.
See?
Now
Shelly's
with her
doing little
aces.
Hollywood in here. I think she should jam.
No.
By her not jamming last time, it did net her a good amount of chips, though.
Raise
1,000 more.
1,000 more.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
that's right.
Yeah.
No.
Rob lets it go.
Too long.
So he grabs 900.
First one and the last.
He had a lot of his chips out
This
there,
was
too.
a 5K. My
Yeah, very
birthday's
surprised
in
you
June.
folded
My
that,
gift to myself over the summer is to run a 5K. I don't have to make any great time. I gotta run it. And
Buttons on Heather. Ed will be first act. Still 8 players remain. We are midway through the second part of our show
my
tonight.
dad ran.
If you consider each portion being
I have
a
no idea. I'm gonna
3
be
blind level.
friendly.
Just making up the rules as I go,
It is the
Tony.
best.
No,
It
you're
is so
actually
much
paying
better.
attention because you got that right.
September.
Oh, it's perfect.
You know, I did
Go ahead.
Ed with an ace-king of hearts.
Raise.
So doing the couch
Shelly with the pocket threes.
750 is
That's
not
great.
bad.
I love the
I'm
Who
pretty
raised
excited.
to 750?
Brandon folds.
slowly increase it, and you're so like.
Right.
Which is the app that you got? Couch to 5K.
I'll have to look at it.
Couch to 5K.
That's what my wife first did.
Actually,
Folds over to
My
Heather.
girl's gonna do
Heather
5K
folds.
runner, but I
Shelly
think
with her
they're all
pocket
kind of
threes.
the same.
What's that?
Count 5K
Yes.
runner, it's the same kind of thing.
Seven
It takes
fifty.
years to get through it.
She's
But I'll
gonna
try
call.
couch 5K.
And every day you're running just a little bit.
Just a
more.
little bit, yeah,
Lets
and
him
it,
go.
it interval trains you and does all these things, so
Yeah,
you're-
like.
Ed's gonna be a winner.
You walk a little, you run a little, you walk, and then each walk. It does, it says you just start running, stop running, start. You don't even have to look at it, you just listen, you
Put
just
the
go.
earphones on and then it says,
Yep.
okay, stop now.
Yeah, it just says.
Brandon's going to be first to
The
act this
problem with
hand.
my route is that there's a
Currently
giant
absent from his
hill.
seat.
There's a
That's
couple
why
of
the
big
route I
ones.
was going, and now I just like run zigzags around to avoid all the hills.
Right.
I take my dog too, so.
So,
I don't listen to headphones because then I'm gonna manage too much.
300 play. Rob, good to go.
Action on Moskowitz. Folds.
Oh no, one
Folds
of
her
my
4-6.
buddies, did a.
Action on Heather.
It was a 5K.
Ah,
folds. Steve Day with the jack queen
Anyway, it
offsuit.
was, you run
And it
half
sounds
of
like we are
5K.
going to see a flop.
3 players, 2, 3, 8 is the flop. Hits nobody.
That's
Please grab
And
something.
then run the other half back.
That's horrible.
And it's like, he's like,
Throw it
the
up.
second half, everybody is either throwing up or they're
Everyone
dodging
checks.
piles of.
Oh, wait, there's a bet.
just icky.
Steve bet.
You can't
He's
run
winning.
after you.
Sponsor that right?
I guess.
I don't even like
It's got a
this
funny
big
name.
donuts.
But he's like, it's hilarious because you see these skinny guys that are runners that are doing it just for the hell of it. And they'll, sprint, get to the Krispy Kremes, and then they just take 12, smash as small as they can into like a pancake, and just try and shove them all in their mouth and you've got to swallow before you take off running
Wow.
again.
So doesn't sound like fun.
No, you can't run after.
I'm sorry. I don't
May as well eat like 3 bowls of chili.
I can't
There's,
say water when I'm walking.
Good
There's
to go,
one in
Rob.
Vegas
300.
that, it's the Margarita Marathon. That one is awesome.
That sounds really fun.
You down a margarita like every 5 miles or something like that.
That does sound fun.
I'm
Just
sorry.
saying.
Drink it.
Alright.
There's one
Can you
with
walk
like
that? I might
colorful
do that.
like
Yeah,
girl
and
paint.
walk it, drink your margarita, walk
Yeah.
some more.
That's what I would just be walking and drinking.
Oh, man, I think that sounds like fun. I fold.
Action on Heather with her 10-4 folds. Shelly with her 10-4
Call.
folds.
Steve call.
Steve calls.
Button calls. Ed is small blind.
Call.
I think we've had like 3.
Beats his bet. It's over to Brandon.
We haven't been in.
He checks his option. We're going to see a flop.
Because Heather, we just haven't seen
King,
you walk
ace,
all night
king.
long.
Look at Brandon go.
We'll say.
This is 2.
Ed checks.
Yeah,
Everyone
see,
checks.
I'm a genius.
600.
It was like,
Ed's going to bet his ace.
600
I had
call.
bad cards.
Brandon just calls. Check on the river. Brandon gets a check mark.
Do we have the cowbell back?
1,025. Is the
He
bet?
bets.
Brandon.
Ed is reaching for chips, makes the call.
And
And that's 3 kings.
That would be 3 kings.
We 3 kings.
I was gonna put all of
These
the
3
deuces.
kings.
Yeah, 3 pairs no good. I'm sorry.
I hate 3 kings.
Folks, we are now at blind level 200, 400. This will be the last level of this session. And we'll take a 10-minute break after this level. 200, 400. Still 8 players remain.
What are you demanding?
no, just make sure.
You don't want those aces. Give me 5-7, give her her aces. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Paul Moskowitz be first
I
out.
like to take
I like
8
that,
rings
Heather.
in blocks.
What?
Did your wife have a good birthday?
Me.
Oh yeah.
5,
Yeah,
7,
she
let's
had a
see what
great
happens.
time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I miss her. Kill her sometimes.
400 now. It's big blind. Ball you up to the gun. Folks.
Paul folds his pocket sevens.
Yeah, I'm folded, but hold on. Here we go. Right over here.
Yeah,
Just lay over here.
she's got a feeling
I
about it.
just want to see them. I just want to
We
see
know what they are.
them. No, you don't.
I did. Aces.
You don't know what they are.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay, in a
You
minute.
can't guess until you guess.
No, I'm not gonna
Brandon
guess.
and Rob Newman in the pot.
Yeah.
Ed also.
Checks.
Ed still has the best note. Rob Newman with the catching the 8 there.
Here's your aces.
I folded an ace, like an idiot.
5 set.
Brandon.
That's what it
Throwing
is.
them up.
I asked for aces. I asked for aces.
They're right there.
That
You don't
but's
see
right
them?
there.
Keep them on the
I got it.
floor.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Somebody got it.
I am mucking the cards. It's not. It's not
Yeah, look,
reading
I
it.
see aces off suit. I'm holding that. What are you doing with aces out there?
Yeah, and did you want aces too?
I know I had an ace. You just didn't tell me the others were coming on the flop.
Yeah. Well, you thought I was going to have them.
Linda to act first this hand.
You're not very forthcoming, Tracy.
Stop.
And she has
She's
a
like, I
raising
gave her 3
27
aces
fold.
and she's yelling at me.
Right.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm folding that
It's
one.
okay. I'm used to that.
Steve looking best with his pocket 5s.
Steve calls.
Just
4.
calls there.
Moskowitz did raise with deuces, right?
I think Linda was
Fold.
first to act.
Call. Call. 3 players.
Steve's 5 still best. And still best.
Rob checks.
Like, it finally gets quieter out here. I'm like, no,
Paul.
oh,
That's
now we're in a
800.
hand, really?
Moskowitz makes a move.
Steve
I was
calls.
asked twice tonight not to
That's
talk.
800. Steve calls. With his BS radar on.
Rob's considering it. 2 players.
Steve gets a check mark.
Alright. Check.
Moskowitz
Check.
checks. Steve checks as well.
5s and queens.
Wow,
Ship it. That's how you.
nice call, Steve.
Steve should have put a little bet there on the end.
That's why you like.
Moskowitz checking, leaves the door open for a bet right there.
Crazy son of
Gun.
Heather's going to be first to act. Blinds are 200, 400. Let's let you listen in on the players.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there's 4 out there?
We're not buying it.
You're right, it was 2s or 3s.
Or 2, 3.
4, 2, 3.
And we are good to go, Heather. 300 to play. Fold. 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 400, I'm sorry. 2 and 4. Raise the 9. All in. 2450 and all in.
Ooh, let's
So Rob,
rethink this.
2,450.
I'm leaving my hand down.
Good luck, Rob.
Rob Newman moves all in with his pocket 8s.
2 fold.
Good luck, Roberto.
Moskowitz folded his
54,
3s.
Brad.
We're live on it.
24.
I hate it. Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Brandon calls with his ace-3 of clubs. Hits the ace. Hits the 8 on the turn. Wow, Rob stays alive.
Nice.
Oh, you mean like
Lucky
having
again.
king, queen,
They say you have to get lucky a couple times in order to win a tournament.
a king being forward and the other 2 case queens.
Yes, ma'am. 2-4.
Yeah, I was going to call.
Rob doubles up through Brandon
Pocket 3s.
with a catching a 2-outer on the turn.
Pocket 3s. Do my pocket 4s now.
On these boards, it's 6s and 8s, I think.
Go. 400 to play, guys. Steve folds. Head folds. 900 now.
Brandon races 900
Brandon
with his
races
ace 5
900.
of spades.
Calls a 9.
Down.
Fold.
Good call.
Fold.
Rob Jack 10 calls.
Fold.
We're going to be heads up. Brandon and Rob.
2 players.
Interesting percentages there.
4-2-8 hits the board. Ace high is still good. Brandon bets, takes spot. Well, we had 2 early bust outs this evening, Tony, but the game's kind of
Slowed down a little bit.
slowed down a little bit since then. Just moving chips around a little bit.
It's not a whole lot of high hands versus high hands either.
This is true.
All the luck of the cards.
We'll have a talk with Train on break. See what he can do about that.
Yeah.
400 to go. Fold. 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 900. Sorry.
Race to 900 with
25.
Brandon with his ace 10.
Just to
Hey, quarter. Oh, sorry, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's, I
Sorry.
Brandon raises
That's it,
925
now
with his
I
ace
can-
10. Don't think he's going to see any callers here
3-6, not coming.
as you watch the hands.
Clubs.
Oh, shit.
Wait,
What are you all in down
Heather
there, huh?
folds up again.
what the heck? Is everybody just...
Is there something in the
Nuts!
She did that last. Didn't she do that too?
She's
Yep.
If nothing but
But she
respect.
had
I mean,
the
She
like the
played
nut
with us longer,
hand.
she
Yes.
would realize that my hand and your hand basically meant you were drawing dead.
That's
Wow.
funny.
Why don't somebody else just show me their hand while they're at it?
Why don't we just feel all the hands open?
Might as well.
I know, we'll play. We'll play.
Black chips.
Not me. Shelley, she's stupid.
Showing.
Brandon.
I heard that about Brandon. I mean,
Tell your small. You're welcome. 400 to play. Head fold.
Ed folds over Brandon. Lets it go.
face up anyone?
I know I should have.
Rob folds.
No raise, so.
As does Moskowitz and Linda.
They're just like, oh really, you want to raise again? No, Brandon? Yeah. Here, take that.
Shelley's probably going to come in this hand.
Take that. Screw all my actions.
Raise.
6-7 suited.
800 more.
Steve does raise. 800 on top.
How many weeks do we have left?
Number 5, I think.
I think we got 7. I think this
That's
is
7
5.
Steve takes it with his bet. Pocket nines are good.
You don't get them 2 hands in a row.
My goal is to try and take the other 2 jobs.
Well, they do it there.
2 more months. 15 of them is a doable amount, nothing stupid.
Small blind Steve Day and big blind Ed Wurgler with the first act will be Brandon.
If I can drop 20 more by August, I'll be fine.
So I don't want to try and run a 5K carrying this. I don't want to take it.
It's hell on the knees.
400 to play.
And then before our marathon, I want to drop like another 15 on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I can really run. I don't. That's my thing. I don't like running.
Raise.
I hate running.
Paul makes it 1100 to play.
That's how I used to.
Paul Moskowitz bets 1100 out with his jack 9.
With that,
Suited.
That's running without playing a sport, for God's sakes.
Looks like a suited Dan move right there.
I didn't realize your last name was Rodriguez.
Looks like Steve calls.
Action on Ed.
Drop dead. He was like 30, wasn't he? Or oh, he's that? I thought he was 30.
He has 3 cardiac arrests back to back. Bam, bam, bam. Like you see him on the field, like all of a sudden he just like goes down to his knees and he's like down like that. Like,
We're going to be heads up with Steve and Paul.
Get back up and he just.
You know what happened? Somebody finally scored a goal in a soccer game and he killed him.
That is just wrong.
He's like, oh my God, there's a point in this game.
Too soon.
That takes sport is like the most watched sport.
10-6-5 is the flop.
There's 10 billion people that give a shit
Ed
about
would have been best there.
And
Another 10.
9.999 billion.
Well,
Would have
bet.
been Ed's hand, which is the 9-10.
Mark, did I just fold 5-6? Darn it.
Good thing you did, because you're not
I don't think so.
That was playing in the game, he died, and he worked like for 78 minutes, his heart was stopped. And he's
Steve bets that out, and Paul folds.
78 minutes they worked like, and he died.
How do you do that? I thought you could go like rank it on
Well, if they're working on putting oxygen in
Right.
at the time.
Small and big, right?
That's whatever, but I mean, your heart's not.
Rob's
The
going to
main
be first
thing is
act.
keeping the lungs going, keeping the oxygen going to the brain. The brain can survive without blood for a lot longer than it can without oxygen.
Fold.
Anyway, you go to chip us up, you're all on spot.
Calls it through 4.
Heather's trying to ease.
Uh-oh.
Fold.
My big one. You gotta be careful.
2 more, Ed.
That's a sharp in here.
Ed in the small
Out of
blind.
there.
Fold.
I like to watch sometimes too.
Go ahead.
Brandon and Heather heads up.
Somebody was going to say it.
Check.
Brandon hits his 2 pair. Heather hits an ace.
Bet
Get
600.
lucky tonight,
Brandon calls.
at least at the table.
Check.
Now Heather
Oh,
hits 2
My
pair.
gosh.
Alright, hold on a second.
It is
Well,
a-
hold on a second. Maybe I don't want to check. That's bullshit. That's she goes like this. That's a
I
check.
thought it was. That's right.
Brandon flops 2 pair.
You're
Heather,
first, Brandon.
they both check.
Top and bottom.
Call.
Brandon
Ace
bets.
of fours, top 2 pair.
Ace and fives.
Wow, nice man.
Heather shows him the
I
winner.
think I lost the minimum there.
Brandon speaks the truth that he lost the minimum.
Buttons, right?
Left hand. I seriously think I lost the minimum there. I'm just losing
First,
7.
well, the first act will be Paul Moskowitz in
Two
the
pair, yeah.
right-hand side with the black hat,
For my wife.
with the cap facing
I'm gonna
forward.
raise. I'll
Scheduled a surprise party for Johnny Christie.
Yeah, to clarify that.
Most of
I didn't realize you would have one too.
came in from out of town. Like one of them flew in from Atlanta.
Wow,
Or she
that
flew
is
to
wonderful.
Pittsburgh and then drove in with the rest of them because they all live in Pennsylvania.
It's like he folds
I was
into it
born
this
out
time.
there.
It started out there was just gonna be like 15 people invited, and next thing you know, there's
850.
52.
Raise to 850.
Linda does make it 850 with that ace 10.
Holy cow.
Heather Shelley fold.
Linda raises to 850.
What did I do?
Steve Day
I
picking.
didn't do that. What were we talking about?
Same hand, different suits.
Steve
I
calls.
think Rob's going to shove all in with this.
Actually, it'd be a perfect time for it.
Little squeeze play.
The action on Brandon, 4-5.
Fold, fold.
Only calls.
Rob just calls.
Had he only known.
Checks.
Sitting in good position with Linda and Steve both sharing cards.
Yep.
12 bet.
Linda does bet 1,200.
Well timed.
Steve trying to put her on a hand. Steve does let it go. And Rob's going to fold it.
That for me.
It's a tip. You might do it soon.
I just want to touch
Good bet by Linda, and Linda takes it down.
You were going on first before the first break. We I put it right in.
You still have
What?
Just the two of the first.
Linda will be first to act.
We're good to go.
I'll tell
400.
you one thing about
Newman with 8s this time. Maybe he'll push all in this time.
Oh, gosh.
Fold,
But
fold.
I can't believe it's in the library. You need to see that movie.
Ed folds. Action on Brandon.
Brandon calls.
2250 all in.
2250 and all, not even.
I'm folding.
Stop. If he says 2250 and all in and he has 4,000,
2250. Oh, Jesus Christ, you fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
Well, all in.
can you ask them?
Well, did he say
all in?
No,
He
it
said
says 20. I said 2250 all in.
2250.
That's
Yeah,
my exact
it's
words.
2250 is binding.
all in.
2250 is the
2250
bet.
is binding.
2250 is fine.
My bad, guys.
Same
It's alright.
That's right call.
That would be a string bet.
Yeah, no. It's, doesn't matter.
That's why it's really true.
Just for clarification for the audience,
You know
Rob
what's
did say
coming back.
2250 all in, but he does have more than that, so he is bound to his 2250 announced bet.
I don't think it's going to change much, though. I believe the action's on Linda, who does fold.
And you win anyway.
Everyone folds. Rob does
I'm
win.
wondering what,
Hey!
2 overs. I figured it's a race.
I had 2 overs.
But I'm wondering what you would go all in on 2250 versus, you know, how did
2250
did
all
the
in
wrong
is 50.
misconception?
I just counted it wrong.
come
I would have pushed it all in no matter what. I just
Right.
counted it wrong. I don't know.
Sorry, man.
No. You were
I
right.
wonder if he would have gone all in if
Probably
he
should
was
have
just
called
saying,
it
should've
before,
called,
I'm
right?
not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just
And
tired.
wait for someone to ask for it.
I'm just tired.
But I'm like, I get to look at this at 2,000, I might have to do,
40 go.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got maybe close to 5,000.
And king, queen, I'm like, he's got a good pair. Do I call- Yeah, so when the flop comes, I'll know whether I want to bet the other half of this, because he's in pretty,
Should be.
should have bet king and all.
Yeah, close.
Call.
More
calls
play.
with this Jack King.
Next time I say, I'm just going to say
4 players to the flop.
Right.
That
Off.
way I know I've got it.
That's exactly right.
4 players.
That's going to be break after this hand. Linda flops open and is straight. Rob hits
17 is the bet.
Rob hits top pair. Does bet 1,700.
Yes, sir.
Are we up there?
Yes, ma'am.
Good job, man.
Yes, you can.
Moskowitz's caught the queen. There are definite kicker problems, plus there's possibility of king up there, so he's going to fold.
Moskowitz folds.
Bad history.
And Jack 10.
Linda's got an up and down straight draw.
Yeah. It's kind of it's. She does have a little gamble in her.
bottles here, it's a little risky. But champagne.
What?
Will you wrap it for me? Lots of break. I'm ready.
Hey, the king.
Brilliant.
Nope,
Brilliant.
that's okay then.
Button's good for next hand.
Thank you,
There's
sir.
no
All
reason
right.
to call out.
Looks like we're on
Another
break.
hat.
Then
We'll
did fold
be,
it?
yes.
70.
We will be back in 10 minutes, and thank you for watching.
All right, we'll see you then.
You say you counted wrong last time.
65, 50.